Hi, and welcome to this webinar on pipeline management. It's about the multiple pipeline function that has been published in webCRM. And it is just 3 o'clock, so we'll give it another few seconds before we fully start. Okay. So for this webinar, it will be about an introduction to the multiple pipeline. And we have, there we go. My name is Nicoline, and I'm a project manager with webCRM and FSC product. And I am usually working as a customer consultant where I help, amongst other, implement the multiple pipeline feature. And for some housekeeping, this session will be recorded and shared. You are able to ask questions at the end of the webinar or during the webinar in the chat. And if you have any questions that we do not manage to follow up on during this webinar, we will reach out to you afterwards. So for the multiple pipeline, the benefits that is obvious is that you are able to expand your pipeline management, and you and for this webinar, you're going to learn how to expand it, and you are going to learn how to customize it yourself. We will help you figure out how to get better insights to your sales processes, and one of the other benefits is that you will get a deeper data insight to your sales process. And for the agenda, we will go through what multiple pipeline is and how it is used via a use case. And then I will also show you how to customize it. At the end, we will have the Q&A session that will be that your questions will be read out loud, and then it will be answered. And for the, I have the showcase in here, and it is, I hope it is zoomed enough. Are you able to see my shared screen of webCRM?
Yes.
Perfect. And under the opportunities or pipeline or whatever you have chosen to call it, we have both the list view and the Kanban view, where you can see all of your opportunities. And for the multiple pipeline, it gives you the opportunity to create multiple different pipelines. We have training that used to be the default view in here. So this is where we have most of the different opportunities put in. And you can see that we have a bunch of different consultancy, we have different trainings. There's also some integration and some subscription. And what the multiple pipeline does, it offers you the option to move these into a specific pipeline, so you are able to manage it within the steps that are actually relevant for you. One of the most common things I would believe is if you have a lot of tenders, it is a whole different process than otherwise. And by default, that would be really nice to have that description in detail described, so you're able to actually follow up on the correct moments. So if we go into, for instance, this opportunity, and then you're easily able to move it to consultancy or whatever category that you choose it to be in. You can switch the different opportunities between the different pipelines, and then you're also able to customize the different steps that are within the different pipelines. So for the consultancy pipeline, we have a very simple process, But for the training, you see that we have multiple different processes or steps before it is actually one. Then we also have the then we have the different stages that you could put it within, and you can get the overview also in here, where you see all of the ones under training and subscriptions. And what you do to customize this is to go to utilities and then you go to your pipeline, and then you're able to see all the different stages that you're able to customize. And this is all within the new layout. So if you're still on the old layout, you would have to merge to the new layout before this is actually working. Then you're able to, over on your right hand side, to switch between the different pipeline stages. You're able to add a new pipeline stage where you can name it, and then you just press save, and then you can go in and you can edit it. The default is that you have a level 1 that is ongoing, and then you have a level 13 and 14 that are won and lost. And please do not edit those, because they are connected to the automated processes of moving the opportunity to either orders or the lost section. But you can add different levels. You can add a level 2 that would be in dialogue, and then you can also delete the ongoing one if that is not relevant for you, and then you actually have a whole new pipeline available for you to use. So it is a quite simple feature, and it is quite easy to edit, and it is quite easy to get started with it. Most importantly, when you go from a single pipeline to multiple pipeline, is to figure out what are the processes within your company, what are the common denominators, and how do you actually collect these different sales processes to similar processes. So it would either be all your tenders should go to the tender pipeline, but if you have tenders that are very different in I don't know, there could be different branches or something like that. You could also divide it like that. You can also divide it within, as I've done in this example, you can divide it within the training, consultancy, or subscription. If that makes sense, you can divide it by product as well. But most importantly is to actually brainstorm on this before you just create the different pipelines, so it is actually valuable for your company and you're able to utilize this feature instead of making a more complex process for the salespeople working with the opportunities. Yeah, and after creating these different pipelines, you're also able to go in and do some reports on it. So you are able to draw out statistics. That is also pretty simple. You go to the utilities, and then you create a report based on the opportunities, and then you select the pipeline type, and then you select the different pipeline that you want to do a report on, and you save it. You pull the report. You can also go ahead and use the chart where you get a more visualized overview of your data that you're then able to add to your dashboard or the front page that we also went through in one of these webinars. And like this, you're able to get an overview of the specific pipeline that you're working on and get into more depth when looking into your looking into your data. And yeah, there it is a quite a simple feature. So I don't think there is a lot more to say about it other than it is included in the SMB license, and we are able to enable it if you reach out to support. If you don't have access to it today, you can reach out to support and they will help you access it. You would have to be on the new layout for this to work. Um, and then you're able to get started. If you need any help, you're welcome to reach out to one of the consultants, and we would help you either brainstorm or get started with this feature. Yeah, I think I will just ask if there's any questions. Doesn't sound like there is any questions. One of the major superpowers that is in webCRM is the automation. There will also be a webinar later on, but you are actually able to connect this multiple pipeline to the automation, so you're able to put in a lot of automated triggers when you're working with this. That is really it is like a massive opportunity for you to scale your processes or save time on doing a lot of administrative work. So I would really recommend to join that webinar. And next time we will talk about the delivery phases, which would be the phases after the sales process. So all of this multiple pipeline is before the actual sale. And then we have the delivery phases that would be after the sale is done. But definitely recommend to join the webinar on automation.